To set upon a recline is used in a literal and metaphorical sense, to express that which is laid upon something for a purpose. In response to the Pharisees coming to John for immersion, John states that even now the axe has been laid on the roots of the tree, indicating their false religious system was about to fall because the Messiah is coming. For they had usurped the law of Moses for the traditions of their fathers, Matthew chapter 3 and verse 10. And even now the axe is laid to the root of the tree. Therefore every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. After the birth of Christ, when he was taken to the temple, Simon the priest blessed Joseph and Mary and said to her, "This child is laid for the fall and rise of many in Israel, and for a sign that will be spoken against." Luke chapter 2 and verse 34. Then Simon blessed them and said to Mary his mother, "Behold, this child is destined for the fall and rise of many in Israel, and for a sign which will be spoken against." As a child is rocked in his mother's arms or laid to rest in a manger, as Christ was after his birth, Luke chapter 2 and verse 12, "And this will be a sign to you. You will find a babe wrapped in swaddling clothing lying in a manger." Laid is also used of how Satan pacifies the world system to control it. 1 John chapter 5 and verse 19, "We know that we are of God, and the whole world lies under the sway of the wicked one." Satan placates the world system to maintain control, for he is the father of it. There is a veil that lays upon the hearts of the Jews when they read the Mosaic Law, 2 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 15. But even to this day when Moses is read, a veil lies on their heart. The glory of the law fades away at the coming of Christ because the law was not laid down for a righteous man. 1 Timothy chapter 1 verses 9 through 10. Knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous person, but for the lawless and the insubordinate, for the ungodly and for the sinner, for the unholy and profane, for murderers of fathers and murderers of mothers, for manslayers, for fornicators, for sodomites, for kidnappers, for liars, for perjurers, and if there is any other thing that is contrary to sound teaching. Moses indicated this when he would cover his face with a veil, so that the sons of Israel did not see the glory of God that was upon him fade. 2 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 13. Unlike Moses, who put a veil over his face so that the children of Israel could not look steadily at the end of what was passing away. However, this veil is taken away when they turn to the Lord. 2 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 16. Nevertheless, when one turns to the Lord, the veil is taken away. Although Christ's body was laid in a tomb, 3 days later it was no longer there, for he had risen. On the third day, Mary Magdalene and Mary came to the tomb with spices for the body to find the tomb open. The guards before the tomb shook in fear and became as dead men. But an angel spoke to the women, telling them not to fear and come look. For he had risen, and the place where he was laid is empty, Matthew 28:6. With only the linen clothes lying by themselves, Luke 24:12. But Peter rose and ran to the tomb and stooped down, and he saw the linen clothes lying by themselves, and he departed, marveling to himself at what had happened. Paul was laid down for a defense of the gospel of the Christ, Philippians chapter 1 verse 17. But the latter out of love, knowing that I am appointed for the defense of the gospel. Because of this, his chains and tribulation were not something that should cause the believer to be shaken. 1 Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 3. That no one should be shaken by these afflictions, for you yourselves know that we are appointed to this. Instead, whether out of strife or envy or selfish ambition, with the purpose of bringing more affliction upon Paul, those who opposed the gospel declared it. Philippians chapter 1 and verse 18. What then? Only that in every way, whether in pretense or in truth, Christ is preached. And in this I rejoice, yes, I will rejoice. To set upon a recline has its roots in that which causes to stand. Whether a city upon a hill so that it cannot be hidden, Matthew chapter 5 and verse 14, You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden. Water pots for purification, John chapter 2 and verse 6. Now there were set there 6 water pots of stone, according to the manner of purification of the Jews, containing 20 or 30 gallons apiece. Or a rich man laying up goods for himself, Luke chapter 12 and verse 19. And I will say to my soul, Soul, you have many goods laid up for many years. Take your ease, eat, drink, and be merry. That which is laid is set for a reason.